I'd like to call the Amherst Executive Village Board of Education meeting to order and stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Treasurer and ministers of the conference.
We have no new members that need to be sworn in. We can go to the roll call.
Right.
Mr. Engel?
Present.
Mrs. Gillis? Dr. Messer?
President.
Mrs. Wackel? Here. Mr. Zappa?
Here.
So can I have a nomination for president? I'll nominate Rick Engel. I will second.
We need no seconds.
All right.
Are there any others? Okay. Mr. Engel, would you like to stand, please? Raise your right hand. How many times did you that? All you have to do is say, I do at the end if you agree. Do you, Rex Engel, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as Board President in and for the said Amherst Exempted Village School District, Lorraine County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is chosen and qualified.
I will.
We may have a nomination for vice president. I'll make a motion that Marcus Ashley.
We need to take a vote.
Oh, I'm
We
sorry.
need to take a vote.
Okay, sorry.
Mr. Engel, you vote for.
Mr. Engel.
Mrs. Gillis, you vote for.
Mr. Engel.
Dr. Messer.
Mr. Engel.
Mrs. Wackel. And Mr. Zappa.
Mr. Engel.
I really should do the oath of office again, Mr. Engel. We don't need
I
to
will.
stand. Okay. He will.
All right. Are you ready for the next nomination?
I am.
Okay, vice president, I'll nominate Mark. Any others?
Okay. Vote. Mr. Engel.
Mark Zampa.
Mrs. Gillis.
Mr. Zappa.
Dr. Messer.
Mr. Zappa.
Mrs. Wackel. Mr. Zappa.
Mr. Zampa.
So, all right, Mr. Zappa, would you stand and raise your right hand? Do you, Mark Zappa, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as Board Vice President in and for the said Amherst Executive Village School District, Lorraine County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is chosen and qualified?
I will. So moving forward, we go to item number 6, which would be to set dates, times, and location in the Creative Learning Center here at Steele, unless it's otherwise noted. Everyone has received a the last board meeting, a copy of times. I know that there was one conflict that I think you resolved, correct? Amanda? So is there any other additions or corrections to the proposed schedule that we will follow this year, knowing we are subject to change pending other things that may come forward? If not, we can entertain a motion to accept that.
Second.
Is there any discussion on those dates or times?
So the months I have two, that's only if we need them, right?
No, there's
We're doing it? Oh, okay, all right.
There's one in June, there's 2 board meetings, I believe, correct? In August. August and September, not June, because we moved June to the very
Can I
end.
get an update when I can?
It's in the shared drive.
Is the new
It is.
updated?
Yeah, it's in the-
Okay, yeah.
June 30th.
Yeah, so we moved it because that way we wouldn't have to have a second. We moved it to June 3rd.
Okay.
Originally, there was 3. There was the June one and then the beginning. Okay? Correct. Item 7 is recommendation to appoint a board member as a delegate and alternate to the Ohio School Boards Association Annual Meeting Conference in 2025, which would be November. It's like the 3rd week in November, I believe, this year.
I'll nominate Amanda.
We're nominating Amanda.
Yes.
Morgan's the
Alternate?
alternate.
Yep.
Okay.
I won't need to do it because she's going to be there in September.
We don't need to vote on that.
No.
Recommendation to appoint a student achievement liaison, a legislative liaison to the Ohio School Boards Association for the 25 and 26 school year. Student achievement liaison, Morgan. Legislative, Amanda. Accept the resolution appointing a member to the Lorraine County Joint Vocational School District for a 3-year term.
Right.
We would need a motion for that.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on that motion to appoint Rex Engel?
Thank you.
Hearing none, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gillis.
Aye.
Mr. Zappa.
Aye.
Mr. Engel.
Aye.
Dr. Messer.
Aye.
Mrs. Wackel.
Then item 10, there is a list of A through Q, right? Q is more on the back page. Double D, I'm sorry, I missed the page. Double D.
So moved.
All of those would be the standing things that we would authorize the superintendent treasurer to do on our behalf on a regular basis.
So moved. I have a motion.
You have a motion?
Second.
Is there discussion or comments on any of the A through double D? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gillis.
Aye.
Dr. Messer.
Aye.
Mrs. Wackel. Mr. Zappa.
Aye.
Mr. Engel.
Item 11 is hearing of the public. No one signed in, I don't believe, is that correct? Item 12, we would need a motion to accept the actual agenda that we're going to take action on this evening at this point in time.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
Is there any discussion on those items? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mrs. Gillis. Aye. Mr. Zappa.
Aye.
Dr. Messer. Mrs. Wackel. Mr. Engel.
And we have a presentation this evening. So Kathy and Deborah, if you'd like to introduce yourselves and you're here to make a feature of the presentations.
I am Kathy Quintiliano, and this is Melda. We're from the Northeast region, and on behalf of OSBA and the Northeast region, this plaque is being given to Kimberly Haney for nomination for Teacher of the Year.
Speech.
Well, since I've got your attention, no, thank you very much for coming in during the weather. I wasn't sure. It was kind of a crazy thing. So, no, it has been a crazy, fun growth
opportunities that I've had in the past few months doing this. And we get emotional about our jobs, don't we? But I did cry in November, so that was good, right? No, I've been doing this for 27 years. I've been with the district for 34 years. Started off as an athletic trainer and developed the curriculum, the medical technology curriculum. And I love every day I come to work. I work with amazing teachers, students, my administration, and my community really supports me. Doing what I do, teaching kids, about going into healthcare and providing them opportunities. I can't do it without my community. The hospitals and the doctors and the therapists, people out there, they are all in for my Amherst students. But again, it does come down to my students. What I teach, they come in every day full of energy and excitement, and I feed off of that. And then I'm like bouncing around and like, let's do, fun and exciting things. So knowing that I'm into the sunset of my career, which, lasts 5 to 6 years, I just feel like I've been completely rejuvenated and motivated and just ignited with all sorts of more energy to continue on for the next 5 to 6 years. And I'd just like a real quick thank you to Mark Lowry, who actually nominated me for this position or this opportunity. So just a big thanks to him, and he's doing well on his own, and I'm just excited to be up with him and going to meetings and having learning opportunities for myself. So thank you. I didn't mean to get all choked up, but we do. Teachers, we're all in on our job. So thank you for coming in, and thank you to the board. I appreciate it. Congratulations.
Okay. I know, I should have done it before.
I know.
No, you look great. You look great.
Nice.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And on behalf of the board, Kim, we thank you for everything that you do for the Amherst kids. It is greatly appreciated by the entire community and certainly by the Board of Education. So thank you very much. Item 14.
Yes, this evening, the only financial recommendation that the board has is a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of tax anticipation notes in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $2,550,000 for the purpose of general permanent improvement. And you have the entire lengthy, very legal resolution in the exhibit in the shared drive. It states the $2,550,000. Just for clarity, $2.5 million is going to be generated in a tax anticipation note, which is a debt instrument, and the additional $50,000 is the estimated costs of issuance. So we'll have the remaining $2.5 million that we need to completely finish the athletics upgrade, and then $50,000 to pay for the cost of issuance. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about the resolution that they read? Again, it was very lengthy, stated all the terms.
Let's take the motion and then take it,
Okay.
please. We have a motion, please, and a second.
Second.
Now, if you have questions, we can just ask those questions of the resolution that you are on.
I have a question.
Great.
Who to send it to, but in that exhibit 14, when we originally talked, it was 2.5, you just cleared up the other 50, but for 5 years. In there, it stated not longer than 9.
Yes.
So what's our plan there? Are we gonna extend it to 9? Or are we, what, I can't go for 9. I guess I'll just say that.
That 9-year, not to exceed 9 years for the repayment of the tax anticipation note is, first of all, 10 years is the limit, okay? So 9 years was a kind of an arbitrary term that our bond counsel, Mike Sharp, and Squires, Pat and Bob, chose to put into the resolution. Now, we could extend it to 9 years. I would not care to. I think that's way too long. we needed to borrow additional funds in order to finish the facilities project, we did originally talk about a term of 5 years. We are able to repay the debt without penalty early. So we can pay off the entire $2.5 million principal early without any penalties. I would prefer to pay that off sooner than later in a term of less than 5 years, if possible, as long as there are no penalties. What the reason why the term had been extended, and you can talk to this too, Mr. Molnar, was when the board, when the movement of inside millage failed to meet approval. See what I did there? I used the language that the Budget Commission used. And moving that to the next calendar year means we would collect on the inside millage moving to PI a year later than original. So I think that it would be reasonable to say that the term could be 6 years rather than 5 years, but never any longer than 6 years. We did have the bond underwriter, Stifel, prepare debt schedules for 6, 7, and 8 years. And I have that information with me this evening. And the difference in debt service financing costs, interest, changes by about $55,000 for each year. So if we borrow for a 6-year term, the total debt service is $2,951,000, which you see as $400,000 approximately in interest. If we extend it to 7 years, it increases by about $55,000 and another $55,000 if we extend the repayment to 8 years. Now, when we go to issue the debt, it would be a private placement with one financial institution. The costs of issuance are much less. We would get favorable rate in that manner. We can make sure that Stifel, again, they're the underwriter, they're the placing agent, would not exceed 6 years. We make that term, and then the financial institutions would bid on that, and then we choose the most favorable term among the institutions that bid. Is that clear?
So we can change the, whatever that was, from 9 to clarify and make it 6.
We don't need to change anything in the resolution, but when we enact, the financing, we will make sure that Stifel does not use a term that goes beyond 6 years. Okay?
And then, as far as paying this back, is there a way to, I know we talked about this before, with either if we had excess funds, then we can buy that down, and or to make that service a priority. Is there a way to do that, or am I talking?
The tax anticipation note is a borrowing instrument. We're producing project funds. So $2.5 million is going to go to the project fund to finish the facilities improvements. The inside millage movement to permanent improvement is what is being pledged to repay the tax anticipation note. Okay? So the debt service, the annual principal, and the biannual interest payments will be paid from the permanent improvement fund. So I just think that it would be wise for each year the board to have a conversation about the remaining principal on this debt instrument and what seems feasible to repay if it is more than the required principal payment. So if we have a discussion each year, I think that's the wise thing to decide. Because it has to be balanced against the current needs for any facilities improvements. But in my mind, you pay for what you have to pay for first, and then you spend on discretionary.
Right.
So yes, I think the debt service is the primary purpose of the movement of the two inside bills.
That's all I have.
Any other questions or comments on the resolution this year? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Zappa?
Here.
Mrs. Gillis? Aye. Dr. Messer?
Aye.
Mrs. Wackels? And Mr. Engel?
Item 15 on the agenda would be personnel recommendations.
Yeah, we just have two student workers for Comments Live and also custodian help out. So appreciate between the December board meeting and January 27th board meeting, taking care of these two small items. So just like the board to consider 15A and B.
We have a motion and a second, please. Is there any discussion on 15A or B? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gillis?
Aye.
Mrs. Wackels?
Aye.
Dr. Messer?
Aye.
Mr. Zappa?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Fine, motion passed. There is a need for executive session, so we will enter into executive session for the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of an employee or official for the investigation of charges or complaints against an employee, official, licensee, or student at request of the year. So we will go into that with no action.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to go to executive session.
To go.
Yes.
To go to executive session. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I suppose.
And a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn to executive session. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Gillis? Aye. Mrs. Wackels? Dr. Messer?
Aye.
Mr. Zappa?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.